Fox Mill Road, an 82-year-old man had passed away. He had been suffering with heart problems. It wasn't unexpected. His wife of 60 years was there. She was distraught, as you can imagine. We have a policy in the sheriff's office when this happens that we try to get the driver's license. I don't know why, but that's what they want us to do. So, I mean, I know the theory behind it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but they always ask, hey, did you get the driver's license? So,
Is he going to drive again?
no. So I asked the wife if I could get his driver's license. And I said, and she says, why? And I said, well, they just want to make sure it gets turned into motor vehicle, so on and so forth. And you know what she said? She said, oh, well, the government's taking everything anyway. The government's taking everything anyway. She kept the driver's license. Turned out to be the last photograph of her husband alive. Now, I tell that story just to give you the mindset of what's going on in the United States and in the state of Maryland. And I pray that I have your support. I pray that you can overlook this Democrat thing. There'll be more information coming out in the future. Yes, sir.
We're a little skittish about Democrats because a bunch of them have switched their affiliation to run against the Republicans.
Yes.
Point of order. We have two Democrats who will be at the announcement in this room.
Oh, good.
One of whom is my wife.
I'm sorry.
The other one sits right across it.
They're both great Tea Party.
Well, here's what Jim DeWeese and the FOP have done to me. Do I have more time? Can I tell this little story? Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
I would say, Richard Bowchild and Burgoyne and Jerry Barnes stood in front of us and swore they would make Carroll County sanctuary for the Second Amendment.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Same. I've already gone on record as supporting the proclamation. I've been on record with that. Matter of fact, when I talked to Michelle 2 weeks ago, she already knew I had been on record. So I assure you of that. Again, what did I say earlier? I said the greatest symbol of a free society is an armed citizen. Now, that doesn't mean we just say, hey, we're not enforcing firearms laws. We can't do that. But, yes, sir.
You have to call me sir. I was an enlisted man.
Okay.
All right, now, you already know who I am by now. Talk to me on the phone.
Okay.
Anyway, here's my question. Under Uniform Code of Military Justice, if you carry out an unlawful order, you are as guilty as the man who gave the order.
You are.
Following that line of logic, if you enforce 281,
The
gun
problem.
bill, what does that make you?
Yes,
Are you or are you not complicit in a crime?
you are.
And what is the supreme law of the land? It is the Constitution of the United States.
It is.
Now, will you enforce the Constitution of the United States to the exclusion of all unconstitutional law? There's your question.
And I will do that to the best of my ability. Because like I said before, this is a constitutional office. We swear an oath of allegiance, as you know, to the Constitution. I will do it up to the point I get arrested and go to jail.
All right, now, I'm going to give you a scenario. I land in Pennsylvania, and I'm up there quite a bit. And there, I can freely carry my firearm in the open, nobody says a word. I have a Utah permit which allows me to carry in Ohio, that's right up on the border. Now, if, let's say I had forgotten to let my loaded handgun in the trunk, and now I've been involved in a horrible accident. And the trunk is busted open. Now, you can arrest me for having that.
No, I'm not. Matter of fact, I've already...
Take that gun.
No, I'm not. Matter of fact, me and several of my supporters in the sheriff's office, we've talked about this scenario. We've talked about that. We said, and this is when I talk about the spirit and the letter of the law. The scenario we came up with is somebody's grandfather has a 32 under the seat. They go to the 7-Eleven or Sheetz every morning. Somebody is texting. There's a car accident. The gun is exposed. Is the spirit of the law to have this man arrested? Is the spirit of the law to have you arrested? No, it's not. That's not the spirit of the law.
And incidentally, I had a permit to carry down here to people in company. All right. When the court case came up, the Woolard case, I sent in my subsequent renewal application. He sent back my check and my application and said that due to the ongoing case in the Fourth Circuit, we cannot accept the renewal application. decided, not the way I would like it, and I sent it back in to win. They sent it back, and they said, you have to start and apply for new one because yours is expired. So then they sent me to take a course, a qualified sharpshooter, and I'm also NRA approved range instructor. So I don't know what they're going to teach me, but I spent my money. And they signed papers, and then I sent that in. One of the questions on the thing is, how much money do you carry? And I'm honest about it, I got 2 trucks, about $300 for fuel and for change, that's it. They then refused my handgun permit because I don't carry enough money. And they're refusing retired police officers and all kinds of people.
Right. My father in Virginia has a right to carry permit. My brother in Virginia has a right to carry permit. My sister has a right to carry permit. So, did you have a question?
Yes, sir. This isn't really so hypothetical. But think of it, a few weeks back, the administration tried to dump some kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, there's a major fear about health issues.
Of course there is. Right.
My question, though, is this. What would have been, or what would have been the proper role of the sheriff's office in that scenario?
I think the proper role in the sheriff's office would to confer, as they're supposed to, with local elected officials, come up with a strategy. But the sheriff has enough authority, if I'm not mistaken, and Bob would be able to straighten me out on that, has enough authority to stop it.
Who's the highest law enforcement officer in any county?
The sheriff. So it can be stopped.
But would you be willing to stop it?
I would like to think so.
That's kind of what we're asking you.
Yes, I would be willing. I mean, you have to. This is such a complex issue, and I was reading about it. I mean, it's complex and it's not complex. Okay, if that makes any sense. If it does, you know, I've monitored that situation. I thought it went very well with the Board of Commissioners, the state delegation, and getting up in it. So I would be working with that group, and if push came to shove, yes, we would do it. So
That building had no running water,
I know.
and it had been longer than a year, therefore they needed to go through the complete process of occupancy. They were breaking the law all the way around.
Right. And the problem, of course, is our heartstrings go out to these children. So you have to balance that. You have to balance that emotion, and it's just a complex issue. Yes.
Kind of tie back into what Bud said. After that painting was put on there, the hate crime, why did the state police then start to do the investigation? But I would like to ask you, where do you draw the line between the state police coming in and investigating and something that the county sheriff?
Well, right now, to the best of my understanding, the state police only have jurisdiction on state roads and state-owned facilities. So if that building was a state-owned facility, it would fall within their jurisdiction.
It's not
I don't know.
federal.
It's a federal building.
What's that, how's that?
Well, if it's not a state-owned building, then the sheriff's office could intervene and say, hey, we're going to investigate this. And then you have these battles.
Because
I
I
mean,
noticed how they jumped right into it. You know, we're going to have a hate crime here, which,
right. Well, hate crime is a big issue, and it's a loose definition. Yes.
Stone Cipher case, something even more interesting about this, you may or may not know this. This particular officer placed administrative leave on him. Just came back off administrative leave. We're probably going back on it because he harassed Mr. Stone Cipher in the law store.
Really?
Yes, he did. Now, it gets better than this.
Is this
He
state
shot
police?
this, what's that?
Is this a state or deputy?
He stayed.
Okay.
Now, it gets better than this. This guy made a false statement on an affidavit to get a search warrant. It was wrong. And he couldn't get any judge in the county to sign. They shopped that all the way to Hartford County to get that warrant. Now,
See, that's something I, as a sheriff, would want to get involved in.
well, as well you should. Now, here's the question. How can the state police do such a thing without notification of the sheriff's office?
That's a good question, and that's something I hope to establish.
There's a problem with this.
There is a huge problem with this. what I would like to see happen is if you are a state trooper and you're operating off, of course, that was on 27, which is a state road, but I would like, and that's where this,
Still a county resident.
I understand, but that,
That's right.
but that we are involved in all of that. We were involved in all of that, because I am the sheriff.
Is required before serving some kind of a border process to notify the sheriff?
You would think so.
I also have a little land in Wyoming. Let me tell you how it works out there.
I'm a big fan of Longmire, by the way.
County.
What's that?
He'd be a little too liberal for that. But here's how it works.
He can
The law
fight, though.
finally was changed back in the early 90s, that if a federal official wishes to start a process, he must go to the sheriff's office first. The sheriff at his sole discretion decides whether it's worthy of service. If he makes that determination, he will send a deputy out with the federal agent to do it. And if not, he gives the federal agent directions out of town, and if he's caught coming back in and he is arrested, they did this for the benefit of the federal agents. They were disappearing during that period of time when they fenced off the BLF land and the price of oil went to hell. And they were messing with the Indians out there, most of the Dakota Sioux. They'd send them out, and you can't give away anything that looks like a GSA fleet vehicle. Nobody will drive one or anything.
Really?
Oh, no, because they were disappearing. And there's one thing that's common out there. Everybody knows how to make 500-yard shots. They know how to make things disappear. But that's why they did it. They didn't want to lose any more fathers and brothers and sisters,
Sure.
whatever. So,
I mean, that's how it used to be. That's how it used to be. Yes. I mean, even in law enforcement right now, if Carroll County deputies are going to do a search warrant in another jurisdiction, we are required to report to them.
Why is not the state?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's why I'll be keeping coming back here after elected to stay more informed.
Please bring us some periodicals when they lock this radical up. I keep asking these questions. Some don't like it. They came to investigate me with all those things. I had one man. I did.
They were looking for a member then.
And they said that we understand that you have an MOS of 18 active. I said, yes. And that you also have been involved in airport operations and that you are considered a sharpshooter. I said, what's that have to do with anything else? I said, by the way, Mr. Walsh, I remember your shit-ass, like, lieutenant. So anyway, they said, well, we've been given an investigation and this is the profile we're coming up with. Let's let me give you one. I said, the guy you're looking for never made much more than corporal, maybe a life sergeant. I said, and he's no marksman, he couldn't be using the damn 223. What did it turn out? It wasn't a white man, and he certainly wasn't a
No.
marksman.
No, he wasn't. Nope. No, he wasn't.
This is what they were doing, and they are doing it now. Anybody that has experience, anybody that has a background, they're looking at us. That's why I won't touch the damn internet, and I know Michelle gets upset with it. But they're watching all of us.
Of course they are. I wave at them every time I turn my computer on. The only thing I don't have is a camera on my computer, but I have it on my phone. Anybody have any other questions for Vince? Do you have any questions or anything else?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yard signs. Maybe Michelle can
I'll get some.
Yeah,
I'll
very
get some
good.
from him, and then I'll bring them to the next meeting or just have them in the house.
One more dig at my opponent in fun. Michelle told me that he refused to come.
Yes, he did.
So I told her, I said, I don't understand that because that's all part of running for office. It's all part of the challenge. And in my mind, there is an expectation that you will meet with whomever wants to meet with you, so on and so forth. So
I would move that Michelle be directed that we invite the gentleman.
Oh, I will.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Nice
Debate schedule.
not that I'm aware of.
Now you're trying to tell me how to do my job.
All right, thank you very much. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Vince.